let us see your kindness. Alleluia. And grant us your salvation.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus said to his disciples, "There will be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars, and on earth nations will be in dismay, perplexed by the roaring of the sea and the waves. People will die of fright in anticipation of what is coming upon the world, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. And then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. But when these signs begin to happen, stand erect, raise your heads, because your redemption is at hand. Beware that your hearts do not become drowsy from carousing and drunkenness and the anxieties of daily life, and that day catch you by surprise like a trap. For that day will assault everyone who lives on the face of the earth. Be vigilant at all times and pray that you have the strength to escape the tribulations that are imminent and to stand before the Son of Man." My brothers and sisters, the gospel of the Lord. Kind of scary, those readings, a little bit, huh? A little upsetting, a little ominous, kind of end of the world, signs of the sun and the moon, the nations in dismay, roaring sea and waves. I like the part where it says, people will die of fright. I'm not sure I've seen that happen, but I've felt that way sometimes. And then something helps me out. But people can be very fearful. We're all fearful at times. And we finish, as I said, one season with a bookend yesterday and start a new one today. And I love the fact the weather cooperated, as I said earlier, kind of symbolic. It's a beautiful day today. We end this kind of gloomy last couple days and put an end to the liturgical year. And here we are. Some of the lines that caught my attention, as I said to you, are this kind of frightful prediction. Beware of anxieties of daily life. Self-confession, I am somewhat anxious. Some of you aren't surprised at that. We all have anxieties. Sometimes I get really hyper right before a mass, and I say, Lord, help me. Give me a calm spirit. Help me have courage and not be too nervous about things. And he comes through so far. I've been very blessed with that reassurance. Hopefully you too. But it's hard to avoid anxieties of daily life. And the word that jumped out at me, and it was in yesterday's gospel also, was the word assault. And it says here that day will come when these tribulations occur and will assault everyone. It won't show discrimination, assaulting everyone who lives on the face of the earth. And I've shared this a couple times in the morning masses, but I was assaulted once, held up at gunpoint here in Cincinnati a long time, about, 15 years ago, and it was very scary. I won't ask if anybody has had that horrible experience, but I threw my wallet at the person. He had a gun, and he took it and disappeared. And I was so nervous, I went down on the sidewalk. I was so afraid, And afterwards, I actually felt happy. Someone said, you should maybe talk to a counselor or somebody, which was good advice. It was good advice because sometimes we have, a shock after something, jolting like that happen. And I have talked about it, but I went to my wonderful counselor right here, Jesus, and I just prayed, Lord, give me a peaceful heart. I was more upset when I was robbed once and they took my money and went to Kroger or something spent like $700 on food. But with the gun holdup, I was actually happy. Isn't that weird? I was happy that I escaped without any injury or anything worse from that incident. And maybe that's kind of like today's readings. We're kind of assaulted by tribulation and struggles in our lives, but hopefully there'll be a peaceful spirit that comes over us afterwards, even during it. And I think that's kind of what Advent is. It comes into our lives when we least expect it. You know, some people say, oh, Father, I'm going to get everything ready. I'm going to have my cup of coffee, I'll find my couch, I'll sit down and have my little prayer book, and I'm going to usher in Advent. And I want to say, good luck with that. God bless you. If you're that organized, beautiful. But a lot of us, we don't have that ability to plan that. And sometimes it comes when we least suspect it or are ready for it. And, you know, the good news here, I think, is that God is not reluctant to come into an unusual relationship, an unusual circumstance, yours. As busy as it can be, Jesus wants in. And we can open the door to him now, even if we're in the middle of a lot of stuff. There's never 100% time to kind of say, okay, I'm ready for Advent. I'm ready for even church. It comes into our lives and we just kind of go with it. We put things, you know, on a back burner or we prioritize. And I hope that you're not one of the people who says on December 24th, where did it all go? I got so busy with Advent or Christmas shopping, and I love Christmas time, but it's dangerous to get caught up, as you well know, in all the hustle and bustle. So today we can kind of take a moment to intentionally enter into Advent, okay? And we have the wreath to help us, and I'm going to ask another visual aid here. I think, Greg, are you back there or somebody? Could you turn the lights off? Don't start screaming, it's okay. Just there, lower the light so we can see the candle here that's lit. See it up there? See it, the one candle? And that's lighting our way to Christmas. Why don't we just take a moment, like 45 seconds, a minute, to just be quiet and pray and ask the Lord to enter into our busy lives and give us peace. Okay, thank you. So that moment of meditation can be your first prayer, perhaps, along with this Mass, as you enter into a reflective time. And I'm kind of contrasting, as I've been trying to do here, is just the busyness of before Advent and hopefully the spirit that we can enter into it now, a spirit of calm and peace, despite being assaulted by all these stressful things that come into our lives by surprise. And I love the fact that Jesus comes into the life of Mary and Joseph when they were not really prepared for it. Just like he can come into your family, and you can invite the Christ child and expect him to come, of course, as he will, in about 4 weeks. So today we enter into that spirit. You know, there's an expression, you can curse the darkness or light a candle. And we have a doozy of a candle display here suspended from the ceiling. I love how it kind of descends. We have our wreath here. It's green. I retired green for a couple weeks. But there's our evergreen plant there, so to speak. I love the fact that it's evergreen. And we have on it 4 candles for each week of Advent. You know the symbolism, most of you. There's 3 purple and 1 pink ribbon there designating each week. Purple is a sign of penance, royalty, and also quiet in our church. The pink is the third week. It's a rejoice symbol, help us get through the kind of meditative darkness that we're in. But ultimately, we've got sometimes you see a candle in the middle, which stands for Jesus, but we have those 4 candles for the 4 weeks of Advent. And I'll say more about those candles as we proceed through Advent. But finally, I want to close with this evergreen. There's a song from a movie, A Star is Born, the one in the 70s, not the most recent one. I haven't seen the recent one, but I saw the one in the 70s. Love the song Evergreen. The lyrics are, love soft as an easy chair, love soft as the morning air. Time won't change the meaning of, I'll say, God's love. Ageless as ever, evergreen. May the spirit of evergreen stay in your hearts with the lights adorning it as we proceed through Advent. For a star is going to be born. It's on the horizon, our Jesus. So may each of you have a blessed Advent, and may each of us find peace and solace in the words that we hear today, dwelling secure, anticipation, power, glory. Stand erect, stand tall, your redemption is at hand. May those images wash over you. God bless you on your Advent journey. You could call it your adventure, to play with that word. So, O come, Emmanuel. May we be ready, even in the muck and the busyness of our lives, to open ourselves to the coming Christ child. Amen.